I recently posted a video where I talked about how I traded in a whole bunch of gear that I wasn't using anymore to get this guitar. It's a 2013 Fender American Vintage 1958 Telecaster reissue, and I love this thing even more now than when I first got it in the store because I had time to set it up, polish the frets, throw on a black guard, and my preferred set of strings, and this thing is absolutely lights out. But you guys were really into that video. There were so many comments. I tried to respond to as many as I could, but there was one kind of theme that kept showing up over and over again within the comments, although phrased differently. A lot of people were curious about trade-in value, the pricing of this guitar, and just used guitar prices in general. And it got me to thinking, is it even really viable at this point, considering that used prices have come down so much compared to a few years ago, to look at some of the newer guitars in a similar price range? An example of that is going to be this one. It's what we're going to use our comparison sort of premise for today. This is a Fender Vintera 2 Road Worn 60s Telecaster, and these are still available new. The cost of one of these guitars is $15.99, and they come with a hard shell case, nitrocellulose finish, and all the same vintage specs that you'll find on something like an American Vintage model. On the used market, newer American Vintage 2s, the American Vintage 1951 and 1963 Telecasters respectively, can be found at this price or even cheaper if you keep your eyes out. So I feel like this is something that's kind of worth comparing, but I specifically thought it would be a good idea for this one to be the basis of comparison, despite the differences between the neck carves. Obviously we have a maple fingerboard on this one versus a rosewood. However, the nitrocellulose is closer on this guitar than it ever has been since these went out of production. The newer ones, it's a little bit more durable finish. So in this video, we're going to hear what these guitars sound like back to back, just for a baseline comparison. And then what I really want to focus on, and the real thing that's important, is how do they feel compared to one another. And switching back and forth and filming a comparison like that, the differences become very obvious very quickly. As you may have expected, these guitars have their own kind of vibes going on to them, and it makes sense when you step back and you think about it, because this is a guitar that's made of alder. It has its own unique set of pickups in it. It's got a rosewood fingerboard. The American Vintage 1958 maple fingerboard, ash body, and then the pure Vintage 58 pickups in it. So from the offset here, this wasn't meant to be a direct sound comparison to see which one was better. They're just different. And I wanted to provide a little bit of context for that. But I do want to talk about the feel differences, because that's something that's really, really obvious to me, because, you know, I'm the one sitting here playing them back to back. But to you, it's something that, unless you've played each of these guitars, it's kind of hard to ascertain or really come to a decision as to which one might be worth it or which one might actually suit you better as a player. This guitar and this entire line, to me, the newest versions of Vintera Road Worn 2s, I think that they're the best ones that they've ever made. And from a feel standpoint, the neck profile on this guitar is eerily close to the American Vintage II 1963 Telecaster. The biggest difference being not actually the size or how the guitar actually plays with the frets, but how it feels to play. You're going to get a really high gloss nitrocellulose finish on the American Vintage models, whereas this one is a little bit more worn in and it feels super comfortable, it's super fast, and it doesn't get quite as sticky. Now, this is just my own opinion here, but when I take a step back and I just look at new guitar pricing as a whole, not just Fender, all different brands from all different countries, all different lines and that. I know that everything seems like it's just rocketed up so much, but one of these guitars, considering there's not a whole lot like it with the vintage specs available with this sort of finish, I don't think it's that bad of a deal at $15.99 after all. I got this guitar in November. I still have it, obviously. I must not hate it all that much. It's a really great guitar. However, with all that being said, every single time that I swapped to this one, I didn't want to swap back. This guitar just has the juice. Now, before you start typing a comment that goes something like, of course, he picked the more expensive American-made guitar over the Mexican one. He was never going to go for the Mexican guitar. Obviously, he's a guitar snob. All these YouTubers are guitar snobs. He wanted the American vintage one. There's something very, very, very important that I want to remind you of, and this is real-world experience here from the first video that I made about this guitar. Before I picked this one up to begin with, I went through several Fender custom shops. Some of them were 3 times as much money as what this one was selling for used. And I still thought, once I picked this one up, this is a no-brainer. This was the best guitar in the shop to me and to what I want, which brings me kind of to my conclusion here. There are some instances where it's really advantageous to buy something new. You don't have to worry about potentially getting stuck with something. And in this day and age, I was lucky enough to find this one in person. But these guitars, this specific line of guitars, they are hard to come by. And online, they do not cost anywhere near what this one cost when I went to go and I was trading and all that stuff. Because believe it or not, these were the same price. Yeah. And outside of the peace of mind you get when you buy something new, that if it doesn't work out, you're going to have typically 30 days to be able to return a thing back to the store you got it from. I know a lot of people that find value in paying that extra premium to buy new because they want to be the only ones that put any wear on the guitar. They want it to come to them in the factory, brand new, unblemished condition, and they want the battle scars, all the memories, all the wear, and everything to be just from them. And that's just their own perspective. Whether or not you're somebody who feels the same way, I mean, it's all personal preference at that point. But when I look at the big picture here, and I guess how I'm going to end today's video is this: there is no universal right answer, and it's all going to depend. The only thing that I can say with absolute certainty is you increase your odds exponentially when you go and you try in person. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's not as easy as it used to be with the lack of shops compared to even 15 years ago. But if you have a place that's really cool, even if it's a few hours away, I would implore you, whether you're looking for new or for used, get in the car and play as many guitars as you can of both. You might get lucky. You might find one of these sorts of guitars or something that you love as much as I love this guitar, from simply getting out of the house and trying stuff out for yourself. Thank you for watching today's video. For questions, comments, and or concerns, feel free to use the comments section. But if there's any sorts of topics like this that you guys want to go over, I found this really fun to film. I cut out a lot of stuff because I was starting to go on some crazy tangents. I decided I was going to save them from other videos, but I'd love to hear your feedback down below. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take it easy, everybody.